everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So the moment is finally here. The Commander Banned and Restricted announcement, April 22nd, 2025. Some big things happened. Let's jump into them. Okay, so I'm just going to be going through the little brief, introduction first. I will say that, and then I will go through the 5 unbanned cards one at a time, and then talk about the additional things that were mentioned as well. One thing at a time, though. Here we go. Hello, this is Gavin. This is actually Mitch, but I'm saying it as Gavin, actually writing the thing. Here we go. Anyways, on behalf of the Commander format panel, we have said we would do an evaluation of the format's ban list ever since the panel was announced last year. We've now finished evaluation of that list, and today we are unbanning 5 cards. Okay, so again, they did say that there weren't going to be any bans. There might be some unbans, and yes, there are unbans, 5 of those. For those using brackets to define your decks, it should be noted that cards being unbanned will immediately move to the Game Changers list. That makes sense. If they were banned, they would move to Game Changers, not just like, they never should have been on there. Even though maybe some shouldn't have. And if you're interested in more talk about brackets, you can check out today's update, including several new Game Changers in this article. When it came to reviewing the ban list and unbanning cards, we felt the cards we unbanned should meet some or all of these criteria. Number 1, cards that have some fond memories associated with them. Some might argue against one of the unbans, but I kind of love it. All right, cards that can contribute to positive play patterns, enjoyable decks, and or splashy moments. And number 3, cards that don't create runaway games or negative play patterns. Again, I'm wondering how they justified unbanning one of these with all of these restrictions, but we shall see. All right, there are also cards we felt would be safe at the power level of bracket 3 and above, where Game Changers generally sit. I thought you said with the brackets, that's always sit. Anyways, okay, here we go. However, we also wanted to recognize that the idea of Commander brackets in the Game Changers list is still relatively new, and that not everybody will be using these systems. True. We want to be mindful with the cards we chose to unban. Over the rest of the year, you will be curious to see how the adoption of brackets continues to go and how these unbans affect players' games. That will tell us a lot of the future unbans we may make. Let us explain. You might just see that at the bottom. Let's ignore that. Let us explain each of these 5 unbans. Okay, here we go. First up, Gifts Ungiven. Now, the episode that I did on what I thought would get unbanned and potentially banned in the future, a long time ago, I kind of forgot exactly what I said, but I'm pretty sure I had Gifts Ungiven on the most likely to be unbanned list, or that it was one of the cards that was likely to be unbanned. Go back and double check that for me, please, and let me know if I'm very wrong, too. Anyways, Gifts Ungiven is an instant for 3 and a blue. Search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen cards in your graveyard and the rest in your hand. Then shuffle. So yeah, basically a really cool tutor that gets things both in your hand and in your graveyard, but it's kind of like Fact or Fiction in a way that, that's kind of how it ends up resolving. This is a beloved card with a great history. Many of you out there have enjoyed casting this card in all sorts of formats. We're excited to return it to Commander. The previous concern had been the nature of this card as a power tutor, the time-intensive casting process, and the combos enabled by this card. We consider this within the structure of the brackets in just regular pregame conversations. If your deck is trying to infinite combo people with this, they should often help sort out if they're playing in the right environment. True. On the other hand, a fair Gifts Ungiven is a very fun and akin to Fact or Fiction, the politics and interplay between players it can create. 100%. I definitely agree with that. Also, Intuition isn't banned, and this is very similar to Intuition, is something that they probably also should have said. But then if you start saying, like, well, this is similar to that, but that one's banned and this one's not banned, then there's going to be some kind of arguments on, like, why is this other thing banned? Anyways, I think it's a good decision to unban this one. Again, literally, if you are playing this card in a combo fashion, you're automatically at already like a tier 4 or whatnot, essentially. So, sure, it is a fine card for that. Otherwise, again, yes, I agree. It is kind of like a fun, Fact or Fiction-ish, where you can politic with it. And again, if you're like, okay, everyone, except for that one player who's controlling the board right now and is doing crazy things, hey, everyone else, is one of the 2 of you able to... if I pick, these 4 cards, give me these 2 so that I can actually deal with what they're doing, like, a Wrath and maybe a counterspell or something like that, and I'll only utilize it against them. Sure, thank you. And also, by the way, the other 2 cards I'm getting have flashback in my graveyard. Sure. Okay, so it's a very cool card. I'm glad that they unbanned this one. And yeah, I really don't think it's that big of a deal personally. Again, like if the fright, the fear of this card essentially is, oh no, it's going to make every single deck a combo deck that utilizes it. I don't think that's necessarily the case. This is the type of card though where, yeah, I could definitely see players kind of nodding off a little bit at the table when one player is like taking a long time. If you're going to play this card in your deck, you should have in your mind the cards ahead of time that you're going to go get. This shouldn't be like, oh, I just threw it in a random deck that I haven't looked at in 10 years. And like, well, let me look through my entire library and see exactly what I need for this situation. 4 hours later. Yeah, please don't do that. So yeah, with this kind of a card, please be responsible with it. But yeah, I think it's completely fine and a very fun card. And I believe, I don't want to be speaking, out of nowhere right now, but I believe this one was budget friendly. I don't know if it's going to be after this announcement, but I think it was like a less than $1 card at one point. We'll see where this one ends up, though. Moving on, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Sway of the Stars has been unbanned. My goodness, yes. Okay, this is another one where I definitely, if I remember correctly, said, yeah, I mean, I don't understand the reasoning why this one is banned when another one is banned that we'll get to here in a second. Sorcery for 10 mana in total in blue. Each player shuffles their hand, graveyard, and permanents they control into their library, then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7. Super, super duper crazy, obnoxiously amazing card, in my opinion. Let's read on. A 10 mana way to reset the game akin to Worldfire. Again, there's the reference, which was previously unbanned in Commander to little fanfare or play. There are some players who enjoy this effect. It is an impactful card, but not very powerful. There are plenty of other spells that cost 8 or more mana that have a far greater impact than Sway. 100% agreed. I mean, expropriate. Our guess is this will see little play, but the people who enjoy cards like these will now be able to play another one. Yeah, I enjoy this. I think I'll build something around it most likely at some point. But yeah, it is the type of card that can rub some people the wrong way because it's like, well, I worked so hard to set up my entire board and do all these things and I was winning and all of a sudden now everyone's at the same spot. Oh no. Sure. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I could have just cast again like a, take 2 extra turn spells and just won the game. But instead I'm doing this. And now you have a chance to still win the game. That being said, obviously there's ways around this where if you have like, again, things that you just like blanked out and then they come back, you could start off ahead of your opponents with that. There are ways to obviously take advantage of this and kind of use it as a game finisher. But yeah, Worldfire being unbanned did not destroy Commander. This will not either. There is no reason for this to be banned, essentially, if Worldfire is not banned either. Worldfire basically does the exact same thing, except everyone's just top decking and everyone's at 1 life versus 7 and having a hand. So yeah, this is the type of card that not everyone's going to play, which is probably a good thing, again, where it's like, okay, run being a card, it's not going to be like, oh, everyone just run off and go get it and put it in every single deck. No, that's not the case. It's not banned because it's powerful. It's banned because to some players, it's kind of obnoxious-ish, essentially, and resetting, quote-unquote, the game is kind of a mean-ish thing, but not really when, like, I don't know, everyone's on an even playing field with this as well. So, yeah, I do think that this one is completely fine. I do think that this one is completely fair to be unbanned when Worldfire was unbanned. And again, it is one that's not going to have a huge impact on the meta at all, but you definitely might see some joke decks around there. They're like, hey, Sway the Stars, yay, awesome. Keep in mind that this actually doesn't exile as well. So, yeah, you can cast this more than once. So have fun doing that. Sway the Stars again and again. Sway, sway, sway. It finally happened. I can't believe it finally happened. Hashtag free Braids. Oh my gosh. Braids Cabal minion is abandoned Commander. And no, I'm not building a deck around it. A 2/2 human minion for 4 mana in black. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, the player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. Braids is finally unbanned. And again, literally, when I talked about that like checklist earlier, when I was referencing the one card where it's like, yeah, I don't think this one actually meets any of that criteria that they said, so I'd love to see their justification for unbanning this one because, yeah, there's definitely people out there who don't think it should be, unbanned, and then there's players like me who are like, yeah, it should be unbanned because we've got worse commanders out there that are unbanned as well. Turgid. And, yeah, it is one where, yes, it is absolutely an obnoxious commander, but also, you can have that pre-game conversation and be like, yeah, I'm not playing against Braids. Like Braids is that's like a no-go. That's a stacks commander. That's like if you pulled out Grand Arbiter Augustin the Fourth. No, that's like a tier 4 commander at least, because it's like, repeat land destruction essentially with this one. So yeah, no, I'm not playing against that one. Okay, pick a different deck. Okay. But in the 99, it's completely fine. So again, because as a commander, you can see it coming, all right? So just have that discussion. Again, commander is a social format. Just talk, okay, everyone, and be understanding. If you're going to play Braids, sure, we can do it, but maybe it's like a 2-minute game, okay? If you get Braids out in turn 1, we can all just scoop and say, you did it! You did the thing! Yay, congratulations! Soul Ring, Dark Ritual, Braids, you win! Okay, now let's just do nothing else. Anyways, this card is a beloved character, and a card many are nostalgic for, 100%. Yeah. When played as one of the cards in your 99 or later in the game, it is a totally reasonable effect with an appropriate impact on the game. 100% agreed. There are worse things out there, like Smokestack is a thing. It is better than Braids. Anyways, the most frustrating Braids games are when it's put out extremely quickly and people feel locked under it. 100%. However, as little as a single removal spell can really set the entire plan back, as commander decks have become more efficient with more target removal spells and players have gotten better identifying commanders they don't want to play against and improving conversations, I think that's the main thing, really. So that gives us the confidence to bring back Braids. I mean, saying this, I think this is not that it's just disingenuous, but it's kind of overstating, like, okay, yeah, as long as everyone has, again, a Swords to Plowshares or Path to Exile on, the turn where they need it, okay, cool, you can deal with Braids. But, like, again, in that example I gave earlier where the player's like, okay, Soul Ring, actually, you would Dark Ritual first, into a Soul Ring, into Braids, turn 1, basically turn 0 for the opponents. Hey, everyone, you don't have access to any of your things, because on your upkeeps, you're going to be sacrificing things. So you can keep a land out for, like, 1 turn. So unless you have, like, a 1-mana removal spell, you're not taking out a Braids, okay? It's just game over. That being said, again, end players have gotten better identifying commanders they don't want to play against, is the main thing with the pregame conversation. So with that, I do think that there is further justification then for unbanning more commanders that, again, are banned as a commander, quote-unquote, or that would be, like, banned as commander, but not in the 99. So there are, I do think that does kind of open things up with this being unbanned, as long as this goes well, which I think it would. Yeah, like, it's going to be hard to argue against, well, it's okay for Braids, but not for this one. It's like, okay, but yeah, you got to be able to kind of justify all of them. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, not to spoil things you haven't seen yet, but Arayo isn't unbanned. That's one where I think you could also say, yeah, should be unbanned, because in the 99, it's completely fine, but actually as a commander, it's problematic. But again, you can have that pregame conversation like, yeah, no, I'm not playing against an Arayo deck, okay? I don't want to just sit here with my things being countered left and right. Anyways, confidence remake Braids, it's interesting. Oh, I forgot there's a little more. Here we go. I'm trying not to spoil the next ones. Anyways, a lot has changed since Braid was banned in 2009. We believe people will know what they're signing up for in a game with Braids as a commander. As a card in the 99 is reasonable and acceptable. I agree. And again, if the person who is playing Braids is playing against a group of new players, like, don't worry about it, it's not that bad, kick them out of the LGS, okay, if they're trying to lie to new players. That's just mean with a Braids deck. That's just mean. Don't stacks new players, okay? Don't do it. Anyway, hashtag free Braids. Braids, yes. Okay, the moment that everyone has been waiting for, and some people have been dreading, but very few people, I would say. Coalition Victory is unbanned. This was the one that's like kind of like the glaring, just, I mean, like, okay, like the Island Misfit Toys card, like, you know, like, okay, you've got all these powerful effects. My gosh, oh no, these things are so powerful and banned. And then there's like the weird cousin over there, Coalition Victory. And we're not sure how Coalition Victory got in here, but it is. Yeah, okay. Coalition Victory is a sorcery for 8 mana in total 3 in Wooburg. You win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. Cool. Awesome. Again, it's an 8 mana sorcery. It has a, not too steep, but a steep enough requirement for alternative win condition compared to other alternative win conditions, which are much easier to pull off. Not that this is impossible to pull off, it definitely isn't. It does take some effort, and again, it's an 8 mana janky sorcery, everyone. So yeah, unbanning it is completely fine. This card engendered a great deal of discussion. A lot of it boils down to how impactful and how much of an auto-include it is. It is not an auto-include. In a deck with a 5-color commander essentially reads, you win the game if you control your commander. Kind of. That is not the most satisfying end to a game, and it does not begin to become an auto-include for many decks. Is this card appropriate? Is this an appropriate card to exist? Yeah, it can easily be interacted with 100%. A single removal spell in response to your 5-color commander means you spend 8 mana to do nothing. Agreed. You also need to untap your commander at 8 mana. And there are many expensive spells that will do something akin to any of the game in a 5-color deck if you resolve them. Again, literally, like, isn't Expropriate 8 mana? I think it might be 9, but still, like, it's like right there, okay? And that's just like an I win the game type card. Tooth and Nail essentially around there as well. There are plenty of 8 mana plus ways to just like, oh, I win the game because I played this one spell. Sure, so why is this one that bad? And again, it can be countered. And also, again, you can utilize removal. It's not like, turn 1 Braids where it's like, okay, do you have a Swords of Plowshares? If not, you lose. Anyways, additionally, for those engaging with commander brackets, it is within the timeline of where we expect an I win combo to fall. Okay, interesting. It's an I win combo? This is a combo? Are we considering alternative win conditions combos? Is Lab Maniac now a combo? I mean, I guess with a secondary card, but like, is this just a combo on its own? I don't know. That's kind of a weird gray area, I would say, where like an alternative win condition is a combo. Kind of? Maybe? I guess. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, again, I think the amount of people that were excited about this one being unbanned versus the number of players that were going to be upset if it was unbanned, that is nowhere near a balanced scale. There's a lot more players out there, I believe, that were like, please unban this. Like, there's no reason it should be banned because, again, there are better 8 mana I win the game type cards out there that are easier to pull off. And this is just like, yeah, it's janky, it's dumb, it's going to win some games. Cool. It also got much more expensive than it was a couple of months ago before any of this discussion happened about brackets and unbannings, that kind of stuff. Yeah, some speculators just went out there and bought a lot of them, apparently. So hopefully you got your hands on one early, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure they're going to reprint at some point because it's janky and it's funny. So Coalition Victory, go get it. And finally, the card that I argued so many times. Also, okay, I guess if the one like weird cousin that was there, was Coalition Victory. That cousin's cousin, who's not actually related to the family, like really, that's the Panoptic Mirror. It's like, again, like, why are you here with all these other we've got like all these other incredibly powerful cards that are banned. Why is Panoptic Mirror here? It makes no sense. An artifact for 5 that is imprint for X tap. You may remove an instant sorcery card in your hand with convert mana cost X from your hand from the game, basically exile it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may copy an imprinted or instant sorcery card and play the copy without paying its mana cost. Okay, so initially this was banned because players were like, well, what if someone puts a Wrath on there? Or like an Armageddon? Or an extra turn spell? Okay, let's walk through that. Alright, first of all, you gotta pay 5 mana. You gotta get this in play. Then you've gotta pay whatever amount of mana that is. Again, let's say Armageddon. Okay, you have to pay 4 mana to do that and tap. Exile the instant sorcery. Okay, exile the Armageddon from your hand. So that's 9 mana in total with a 2-card combination that you don't have to wait until your next upkeep for that to actually resolve. Can I tell you why that's not a very powerful thing? Is it obnoxious when it happens? Sure, but you've got plenty of time to interact with it, and also it's incredibly slow, and there are other combos out there that just win the game. So yes, this is something that's like, yeah, never should have been banned ever. I don't understand why it was ever banned. Anyways, here we go. Let's see what Wizards has to say about this. I personally have been a Panoptic Mirror enjoyer ever since it was really printed back in Darksteel. Awesome, great, yes. The promise of using a cool spell turn after turn is so fun. Agreed, that's still true today. A value mirror is a blast. There are 2 problems with it. The combos aren't good. The first is imprinting an extra turn spell. Oh darn, the game is over immediately. It's a slow combo. Who cares? The second is imprinting something extremely repetitive, such as a board sweeper, so the game cannot move forward. Agreed. But again, that's just literally where the entire table's like, okay, we forfeit because you're Armageddoning every turn. Who cares? Like, all right, it's a draw. No one cares. All right, okay. I guess the person can, like, you may copy it, so they don't have to copy it, but then they'll just choose to when it's beneficial to them. Yeah, okay. Anyways, the latter is something to be a lot less worried about in 2025. Agreed. There are so many answers to artifacts and decks that even if you're under a board lock, you can get out of it. Yeah, maybe. The first one is well addressed by bracketed play through restrictions on combos and overall lower density extra turn effects. Yeah, sure. Okay, so yeah, this would have to be like, if you're doing the extra turn combo with this, I believe tier 4 or greater, because that is, you are chaining extra turns together. There you go. And regardless of the bracket system, many tables have a good idea of whether they enjoy infinite combos appearing in their games, if that's something they want players to do in their decks. Finally, it does take a full turn, no really, and a large amount of mana investment, and people have several windows to respond to it. Yes! They can kill it before you untap in response to the ability, or after the ability resolves, your opponent is down a card. Yes, 100%. Again, literally, this is like the slowest 2-card combo of all time, and I can't imagine players having a problem with it, because then just literally, if that happened, all right, if this 5 mana thing, and then you pay the 4 mana to get like, or I guess let's say 5 mana to get the extra turn spell, all right, exile with it, that's 10 mana in total with a 2-card combo. There are so many more efficient combos out there that would have already just won the game, okay? This, then you have to wait for that, so you got time to react to it. And if you don't react to it, sorry, the game's over. That's just how it is, all right? So, I don't know. It's a card that I never had a problem with. I couldn't imagine players having a problem with it, and somehow it was banned. And now finally, it is unbanned, and the world makes sense. That being said, some of the things that might make sense moving forward. Okay, moving on to the next section with some very interesting things. Here we go. These cards have not been legal in Commander for a long time, originally being banned between 2005 and 2009. Interesting, that is quite a long time. A lot has changed in both Magic and Commander since. Yeah, Commander wasn't really all that much of a thing. I mean, it was a thing, but like, like today, it's like the thing. Now it is. It wasn't then. We are not opposed to banning them again at some point in the future if they still prove problematic. Don't you dare ban the mirror. Anyways, or braids. However, these feel in line with our expectations and are okay to try given where the format is today. I agree with that. I know many of you out there will be excited to try them, and I look forward to reading about what you all come up with. swaythestars.deck.repeat. Keep casting it. Have fun, everyone. Yes. These changes are effective immediately in tabletop and will be reflected on Magic Online later today. Cool. If you're interested in the background of the brackets, go read an article up today. Cool. Awesome. On Dockside Extortionist, Jewel Lotus, and Mana Crypt. So this is definitely going to be some kind of a discussion between a lot of players out there. Yeah. We would be plugging our ears if we did not acknowledge the elephants in the room when it comes to this series of unbans. The September bans of Dockside, Lotus, and Mana Crypt. Many players out there probably immediately scrolled down this long article as quickly as they could to discover the fates of these cards. Not me. I was happy with the first 5 that were unbanned, but that's just me. We did talk about these cards and are not unbanning them at this time. Whose speculators are going to be quite upset about that. Anyways, opinions when the Commander format panel varied. Some believe Commander is more fun without them. Guilty over here. Others would like more time to see how Commander bracket system is adopted before doing anything here, and others felt like it's too soon to do anything with these cards. I don't disagree with that either. There were a few people who were open to doing something with Jeweled Lotus now, not me, but that was not the majority opinion. The overwhelming majority of the panel did not want to do anything with any of these cards at this time. I think that's probably a smart move. Again, it just seems like whiplash if you're like, okay, like, these things were banned for a reason. Whoa! And I know it was a different group that made that decision. I understand that. But so, like, then, like, immediately being like, well, now they're unbanned. And don't worry about it, everyone. Just pretend that didn't happen, okay? Everyone pretend it didn't happen. Be a bit whiplash there versus actually kind of seeing how things play out with them not in the format, which I don't know about all you, but I'm pretty happy whenever I don't see a Dockside or a Mana Crypt or a Lotus super early in a game. I will be transparent and say that I believe if any of these are ever to return, the most likely one is Jeweled Lotus, which I definitely agree with and I think is the most fine out of 3 of them, essentially, due to its one-shot nature, iconic feel, and ability to help support high mana value commanders. I want to be clear, this is not me saying that this will ever happen, but that was the one among the panel with the most traction. That makes sense to me. Again, it's a one-off. Mana Crypt is just like, oh, okay, you're just forever ahead of everyone. Dockside is, okay, you're way too far ahead of everyone, and also you probably just combo with it too. And Lotus is like, okay, well, you just got your Urza out on turn 1, so the game's probably over. Let's just scoop and try again. Thank you. Good job. Okay. I know that many of you love these cards. Not me. Many of you are also glad you no longer have to play against these cards. Guilty. There's always that kind of push and pull with powerful and potentially ban-worthy cards in Commander. I appreciate there are many people in both camps, and that no matter what happens with these cards, somebody will feel like they didn't get the result they wanted. I mean, that's just what's going to happen with bannings and unbannings, right? There's probably someone out there who thinks that Mirror should have stayed banned, and if it's you, please let me know in the comments below, and I'm very sorry for my very, very, very honest take on Mirror and how I don't think it ever should have been banned. Anyways, however you wanted to talk about these cards here honestly, and what was said internally for transparency. These cards will be something I'm sure we'll talk about the next year, but for this year, the book is closed on these 3 cards. Interesting. Future bans. Interesting. Let's go into this. Commander has been through a lot since last September. Yeah, a ton. It's been a time with a change of hands, a new panel being formed, and lots of uncertainty around what will remain on the ban list. After this appraisal of the ban card list and changes, we like to take some time to let things just sit. For everybody to exhale after waiting on this announcement and have a bit more of a relaxed time in Commander News world. Cool, that's good. Additionally, we'd love to give more time for the Commander bracket system to develop, which will help inform how much moving cards off the ban list and on the Game Changers list does for how often and where those cards will show up. Really quick, anyone out there, and there's that separate article that I haven't gotten to yet, but I thought that they mentioned, I could be wrong on this, that like the Commander bracket system would be like finalized-ish with the April announcement. Maybe I misheard that, maybe I misinterpreted it, but I thought that they'd be like, yes, and we're testing in Chicago, and then we'll take some months to take the data, and then we're going to finalize it. I'm pretty sure that's what they said, but maybe I'm wrong and misremembering. Anyways, a lot of news has happened. Here we go. So we are committing to no further changes to the ban list for the rest of the year. Starting next year, we can touch the ban list again and at more regular intervals. So not just one ban window a year. Well, that's good. We want to hold off for the rest of this year. Okay, I mean, I think that makes sense. Again, like, let the dust settle, so no more, unbannings this year, or bannings as well. So there's just going to be no more changes. Okay, cool. All right, so there you go. The only exception will be what I'm calling the Nadu contingency. That's a cool name for something. Which will be if a new or unbanned card begins to become generally reviled and people just want it gone as soon as possible. We can break the seal and act earlier. However, I'm hopeful we don't need to do this, as it would need to be in a fairly extreme circumstance. So again, I can't imagine it just be like, this is a new or unbanned card. I can't imagine that would just be happening with the unbanned cards that quickly. But yeah, with a new card potentially, again, sorry Lutri fans out there, but if a Lutri comes up, yeah, it's gonna be like, yeah, we gotta ban that right away, because that just kind of breaks what Commander is in general. Anyways, as has often been stressed to me, Commander moves slowly. It's fine to take our time and let everything settle. Stability is a core tenet of Commander's philosophy. Recently, it hasn't always felt that way. Let's get back to that stability again. Good. I don't disagree with that. If you're interested in a review of cards on the ban list, we include a summary below. This has been Gavin Verahay on behalf of the entire format panel. And this was Mitch saying all these things, so it wasn't actually Gavin talking. Anyways, there you go. There's the Commander format panel. Thank you, everyone. Cool. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. As always, comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.